All right, so you want to start with however much clay you have left, or you want to use, sorry, however much clay that you have left. I broke this up into chunks because there's quite a bit of clay. You might only have that small little bouncy ball I had you set aside, but very likely you'll have more than you think you're going to have. So when I'm rolling a coil, the secret is to start with a log, right? So I started with a log. You can round it into a ball and then roll it between your hands. Once it gets the length of your hands, then you want to roll it from tip to palm, and you want to move your hands along the line. It gets more difficult the longer it is. So you just want to take your time. Notice I'm not rolling on a canvas because I don't want it to suck up any extra moisture. You want your coil for this assignment to be about as thick as your pinky. It can be much thinner than that, but it's easier if it's thicker. But thicker than your pinky is going to be too much for this assignment. Are you tracking? There are times, though, artists will use large coils, right, for construction. But for the purposes of what you're learning, pinky size is perfect. All right, then you're going to go ahead and you're going to score the length of your coil. I'm using a fork because it's faster, but if you want more precise scoring, so then it's less smoothing later on, you can use the needle tool. If I was going to make a finished project that I fired, I might choose the needle tool. Okay, then I'm going to take and put slip. Slip needs to be mixed. That's okay. I'm going to put slip down the side of it, just along the area I'm going to start with. Something along these lines. And then you're going to start your roll. But as you roll, you need to score, right? Because we score the two parts that are attaching. So you roll and attach. Roll and attach. Do you see how I'm attaching as I roll? When I run out of slip, I'm going to add more slip. Pretty simple. And this would be a very simple coil. And honestly, if this is all the larger that you get, that would be acceptable. Again, you're just using whatever clay that you have left. But some of you guys might have more clay or might want to build something with your coil, or might want to get a little bit more creative with your coil. So I'm going to take this demo a little farther than that. But again, you would be perfectly okay if this is as big as your coil is and this is as creative as your coil got. There is not a creativity end on this rubric. Okay, it's just learning the coil method. Coil is an even thickness, it's scored, slipped, and knit correctly, and it's smooth on the back. We'll get there. Okay, we'll get to the smooth on the back part. Okay, so now let's say I want to get a little bit more creative with this coil than maybe what's here. I don't have to make it a circle. I can make it into anything, as long as I'm scoring, slipping, and knitting my attachments as I go. See what I did there? And then I could come back. This side's already scored, slipped, and knit. And I could create some sort of a pattern or design. Now when you do that, sometimes you'll get negative space areas, or areas where there is no clay. There's going to be one right here, and I'm going to show you what to do with that as I come back around. But again, I'm just scoring the outside so that every piece that gets attached has been scored, has slipped between them, and then I'll show you how we're going to knit it once we're done. Okay, so see how there's negative space right there? I can leave that negative space. That's one option. But you can also just roll yourself a little ball or a little oil, oval, not oil, or make yourself a triangular shape, right? To try and fit in there, I might want a little triangular shape, right? So then I can take that and I want to score it. There's already slip in there. It's already slipped up. And I can just make that ball. Did I smoothed out my score on accident. There we go. And see how I can fill that space. It's not that difficult. So, once I am done with my coil, I just want to show you how to attach an additional coil. I'll just do this quickly. Alright, so when I get to the end, if I just want to smooth it into itself, I might elongate this and just kind of knit them together at the end like that. But if I want to attach two pieces, let's say I want to attach another coil to it, I'm just going to do a small little spot right there. This trick is to try and find an even thickness, which that is not. Oh, now I got too skinny. See how I got too skinny? That looks pretty close. Alright, so you want butt against butt. Just score them both. So did you see how I cut off that tapered edge, right? And it's the same concept anytime you attach two pieces. Here, you're not going, and then I would score, slip, and knit my two pieces as I attach them. And you can make some pretty fun designs with this. I'm going to end it. I just wanted to show you guys an attachment. Everyone tracking? So this would be a coil construction. It doesn't have to be round. Is mine round? No. It's a little more oval. Okay, then once you're done with it, I like to look at both sides and see which one looks prettier, and it's usually the one that was up against the table. Okay, then so I'm going to choose my messiest side, and we are going to completely knit the back smooth. So it's going to be a smooth rear surface. This way I know there's no air that's going to pop those coils apart in between them. So that's how I would do the back side. There's a little more smoothing that needs to be done, but do you guys kind of get the point where you're going to smooth it out? Then on my front side, and now I'm going to maybe have a little pressure, so I'm going to set it on a canvas. It's been rolled. It can dry out a little bit without getting cracky. But all those score lines that I made, I don't want to see them. And all that slip that oozes through, and it might be a lot or it might be a little, I want to clean that out. See right here, if I don't want to see this seam, I want to smooth this. So do you see how about pinky thickness is going to be easiest here? Just because we're learning. Once you know what you're doing, you can work really small with coils, but I just don't want to challenge you too much on your first coil construction. Although some of you may have done this with Play-Doh. I got out of my coil shape there, so I have to kind of reform my coil. Do you see how I got off? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So once you have your coils, make sure and put your symbol on it. This is first hour, so I'm going to put a 1 for first hour. And you can put these on the cart in the kiln room to be fired. This is something you could work on if your clay's rejuvenating or needs to be rejuvenated, or you're waiting for some parts to knit together, right? You attached them, but you need a little bit more time before you attach another piece. You need to let that solidify. So this is kind of a work in between project if you can, but if it doesn't work out, you can just go ahead and do it. Now I want to show you quickly if I wanted to build up, because I told you you could turn these into like cups, right? It's the exact same thing, but now instead of going to the side, once I have this, I'm going to go around. And we would score, slip, and knit exactly as I did on the other one. I'm just trying to make this so you guys can see. And I would do just one coil around. Does that make sense? You can go up, but the easiest way is to butt them up. Just do one coil around. When they get to the place of connecting, just cut the one off, right, and butt them up against each other. And then your second row, you don't want to start at the same spot. You don't want like a weak spot, you know, through it. So if I was starting my next coil, I'd want to rotate where I started. So I might score both pieces, put slip on one of them, and alter that spot. And then again, my third coil, and again, trying to get them an even thickness. You're going to start in a new spot. Tracking? Then, once you're completely done, let's say this is all the taller it is. It could just be that tall. That's perfectly acceptable. On the inside, you're going to score and smooth. But on the outside, you're going to clean, like we did here. You are required for the glaze grade on this to have a minimum of 2-color grade for meeting the standard. So if you want to exceed the standard, that would be 3 colors. All right, again, you're just required to have a flat, small coil showing me that you know how to attach it and you can make an even coil size. But again, if you got crazy with the design, that could be exceeding the standard. If you build it up, that could be exceeding the standard. So that's how you can get that. That's all I have for you.